As a real estate agent, you don't necessarily need to sell more houses. You just need a better financial plan. Income isn't your problem because most real estate agents sell enough real estate, or at least they have the opportunity to sell enough real estate. After thousands of conversations and creating hundreds of financial transformations, we found a few things to be true. Number one is real estate agents don't make as much as they think. So when real estate agents think they sell 24 or 36 or even 48 houses, the math behind how much money they actually think or they actually make is much different than they actually think. Referral fees or commission splits or lead sources that are impacting the amount of money that you actually make. So real estate agents don't make as much as they think. Second is real estate agents tend to spend more than they care to admit. Now, this is Americans and this is Americans in general. We all tend to spend more than we care to admit. However, understanding the path of money of when that commission comes in to actually how much that person truly makes, and then having a lifestyle that has generally exceeded that number. And then the third thing we found is that because real estate agents don't make as much as they think and they spend more than they care to admit, generally leaves them behind on taxes and or retirement. And when you have so many of these things that are stacking against you, when you don't know how much you make on every deal and understand the path of money and have a plan to allocate for taxes and retirement, you're simply going to be running on the transaction treadmill forever. So the path of money is a map that we created along the lines of profit first. And through these interviews and conversations and coaching calls and clients over these past thousands that have come through our system in the wealth method in the wealth department, is we identified mistakes. And one of the biggest mistake was understanding the path of money. Real estate agents receive a check from their broker, and so many times that money just goes into one account, and that account will pay for expenses on the business side. They'll pay for expenses on the personal side. And so there is no path to this money. And so real estate agents, when they close a $500,000 or $750,000 house and they do the math and they know how much money the broker is going to get paid, how much money do they actually get paid? So this is the track, doing the math and knowing your scoreboard is actually how much money is going to hit that one personalized bank account. And that bank account is simply for collecting money, and then understanding the path of money is mapping it to along the lines of profit first, of paying yourself first. So whether it's profit or pure own compensation and owners pay for doing the work. And then also mapping that money to set aside money for the government. If we were a W-2 employee and you would get paid $120,000 a year and your salary was $10,000 a month, you don't receive $10,000. And not having that, or having an employee mindset or not having a business owner mindset and saying, hey, I'm going to receive this money. This is the business's money. This isn't my personal money. How much do I actually get as the person who owns the business? How much do I get as actually doing the work, whether I'm an owner or an operator, or actually went out and sold the house? How much does the government get? And then how much do I actually get to go and spend and invest back into my business? You see, too many real estate agents have this backwards, right? We were taught sales minus expenses equals profit. We were taught that in high school, in any type of business class, and obviously in any type of business environment. CPAs, bookkeepers, a lot of them talk about sales minus expenses equals profit. But ultimately, at the end of the day, when you look at that formula, sales minus expenses equals profit, who's getting paid first? Right? After the business receives the revenue, all of the money goes out to expenses. So we have to flip that script, pay the owner first, and then force the business to work on what's left. And that is understanding the path of money and using the cash flow method that is called profit first. We had a client come through the program a few years ago that was selling 4, 5, 6 houses as a solo agent. And they had maybe a buyer's agent. They had a buyer's agent, they had an admin, but they were really forced to sell 4, 5, 6 houses a month just to make ends meet. This person also had around $125,000, $130,000 worth of debt. They were absolutely maxed out, wits end. They couldn't sell any more real estate. All of their money was going towards obligations rather than towards opportunities. When we were able to work with this client and walk them through the wealth method and understand where they are and where they wanted to go. It was very crystal clear that they weren't paying themselves first. So when we started in implementing profit, and creating a wealth map and a blueprint to their current finances, it was very simple to address. So when this client first came to me, they were maxed out, stressed out, credit cards, life, family, calendar, everything was at the max. And it was simply because they had allowed lifestyle and business and their obligations to rise up and exceed their income. And so without a path and without a plan, they were going to be on the treadmill forever. Like the only way of getting off was either by jumping off while they were running 75 miles an hour or just fall down. And you can imagine what happens when you fall down on a treadmill that's going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles an hour. And when we slowed down to speed up and we looked at their business and we understood how can we start so small and take a percentage of profit here and some owner distribution here and set aside money for taxes. See, this person hadn't filed taxes in 4 or 5 years as well. And we understood what the role of every dollar was. It was crystal clear their next step on eliminating expenses or selling more real estate. But as they then increased their revenue, we were able to keep carving money off the top, forcing their business to work on what's left. This happened actually right before the pandemic. And if we didn't do this and implement the profit first and the wealth method before the pandemic, they wouldn't have made it to where they are today. Fast forward, several $100,000 of cash in the bank, 100% caught up on taxes. Their house is actually paid for. And they just experienced the last 2 years, 60+ day trips around the entire country and even the world. They did an international trip this year. No phones, no technology, just them and their family. It was absolutely beautiful seeing their journey and understanding how much of the work that they put in 2019, 21, 22, 23 allowed them to go have an amazing life. The sky's the limit from here on in. Real estate agents struggle with paying and saving taxes simply because they look at their business as an employee. When that money comes in, the two biggest things that stress real estate agents out the most are inconsistent income and financial disorganization. The reason why real estate agents don't set aside money for taxes is because they have built a life and a business that has met or exceeds their level of income. They simply need that money to live a life or to pay obligations or to pay business expenses rather than set it aside for the government. The solution is simply setting up a bank account that a percentage of the gross commission incomes either intentionally or automatically goes to, just like it does when you receive a W-2 paycheck.